About 20 years ago, my son died unexpectedly, and a few weeks later, I finally got to go to the cemetery by myself. And I sat in the grass next to his grave and I spoke with God. I didn't feel like I was praying, I felt like I was talking to God. And I was pleading with him to let me know that my son was with him. This thought tortured me that I didn't know if he was there or not. And when I finished talking to God, I spoke to my son and I said, if there's something, I have the sense that you know what we're doing with your money, and if there's something else you would like us to do, you need to find a way to tell me. I went home and my Bible laid at the end of the table, and I picked it up and it never opened the front cover. It always opened a few pages in. But this day, the front cover flopped right open and there was a sheet of paper in there. And I picked it up and it was an insert to a church bulletin, and on the back was a poem called When Tomorrow Starts Without Me. I would recite it for you, but I can't do it without tears. So I read the poem, and it was the answer to the prayer I had just prayed to God. And I was just kind of absorbing this fact when my husband came home, and I had him read the prayer, and we were both just holding each other and crying. And my son had a friend whose daughter had just graduated from high school. She was like his little sister. And her face kept flashing in my head. And I told my husband, I think he wants us to help Sam go to school. Her name was Samantha. And he said, well, that's what we'll do. Immediately, the flashing stopped. The next morning, I tried to call her, and first the line was busy, and then it just rang, nobody answered. A little short while later, I looked up from my desk, and there stood her and her mother. And I said, oh, I need to talk to you. Let's go into the lounge. So we went into the lounge, and I told them what had happened on the day before. And I said, so Samantha, we're going to help you go to college. She jumped up from the chair, tears streaming down her face, hugged me and said, he always told me he would help me as much as he could. That day, the tortured thoughts were gone. I was free. I was free to enjoy God's comfort and peace and grow in Him through the whole experience. He is my freedom.